So welcome to tonight, depending on where you are in the world or Australia, this evening's core sprint pitch night. It's really exciting. We have 6 finalists pitching for you tonight, and I can't wait to show you what they've been up to over the last 8 weeks. So before we start, I want to pay my respects to the Whadjuk people, the traditional owners of the land that I'm at least sitting on tonight. I'm in Perth, but you know, I'm sure you all have your own traditional owners wherever you are. And I do want to pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. So my name is Jasmine. I have been the facilitator for this awesome program for the last 8 weeks. And yeah, it's been 8 weeks of a huge amount of fun. I've learnt an incredible amount from these ladies. I'm sure you will also learn an incredible amount as well tonight. I was actually the +8 program. I'll tell you. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I was in the first cohort with my startup Cribber. It was software as a service for mining and oil and gas. So one of the prizes tonight is a chance to pitch for the program again. And so hopefully one of these awesome founders will be joining us in the 5th cohort of the +8 program. So my background's also been in mining and oil and gas, BHP, PwC, and now I teach entrepreneurship at all kinds of places. So enough of that. Back to the more interesting things, which is our sponsors. I wanted to say a huge thank you to our sponsors. Without you and without them, we would not be able to run this program. So huge thanks to the Australian government and the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources, NERA, the South Australian government, +8, and Space Cubes. I wanted to have specifically a shout out to the federal government and the state government of South Australia. It's really awesome, you know, that they're funding programs like this to help female founders, specifically in the resources industry. It's a huge need for Australia, and it's awesome that they're putting that money behind supporting these awesome female founders. So huge thanks to our sponsors. We have some awesome judges tonight. I'm going to read you a little bit about their backgrounds, and it's you know, they're just superb, and I can't wait for all their comments on the pitches tonight. So we've got Nicole Denholder. She's the founder of Next Chapter Raise and crowdfunding platform, which is a digital membership community for female founders and entrepreneurs. Nicole was previously a director at PwC in London and Hong Kong in PwC's IPO and advisory practice. We also have Roma Sharp joining us as a judge tonight. Roma is NERA's SME engagement manager. She's been doing this since 2017. She's led the role in identifying, developing, partnering with organisations to deliver capability building programs for innovative startups and small businesses in the energy sector. So NERA plays a huge role in our community, so we're so happy to have you here, Roma. And Prue, she's our represent from the South Australian government tonight. And Prue is an experienced geologist who's currently the Deputy Executive Director of the Mineral Exploration Branch of the Department of Mining and Energy. So awesome capabilities tonight with our judging panel. I can't wait to hear the questions that they're going to ask our awesome founders. So in case you don't know, core is really where resources and energy sector, you know, meets human enterprises of tomorrow. I've had the pleasure of engaging with core in Western Australia, and it's now awesome that it's moved to South Australia. And I want to just pass over to Renee, who's just going to give us a couple of words about core and the program. So Renee, over to you.
Wonderful, thanks Jasmine, and thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. We've had a really great response to this program and many registrations in the lead up to this virtual pitch event. So it's great to have you all here, and we've got quite the night in store for you. I just wanted to take a minute to introduce core for those of you that might not be familiar with core. I joined the team in March and are now heading up the innovation hub arm of the business nationally from where I'm located here in Adelaide. Our mission at CORE is to connect industry with innovators in the resources sector and to really actively support them to develop the technologies of tomorrow. We've been operating in WA for the last 4 years, a bit more than 4 years, and in that time we've amassed Australia's largest ecosystem of mining and energy innovators right across Australia. As Jasmine said, we recently expanded into South Australia, and that was at the invitation of the Department for Energy and Mining, who are our foundation partner here. CORE's SA operations are based out at Lot 14, which is our innovation district in the middle of the city here, and we also have a satellite office at the Tonsley Innovation District. And our focus at CORE is really around building an engaged and dynamic innovation community, collaborating with intent right across the value chain of the resources and energy sector. And this understanding about how to build a thriving innovation ecosystem is really based on the collective knowledge of our team and the experience over the last 4 years in WA, which has seen us engage with a huge number of ecosystem members, delivered training hours in both entrepreneurship and professional development programs, as well as hosting meetings and events at our innovation hub based in the Perth Business District. So really well connected right across the community. One of the areas we're really passionate about is diversity and inclusion in the energy and resources sector, and that's really why we launched this program. It is the inaugural year of this program, and we really wanted to have a chance to address getting more women involved into the sector. We're really excited to provide this platform for them to advance their ventures, and I want to wish them all the best tonight. But I also want to let them know this is just the beginning. This is the culmination of their work over the last 8 weeks of the program, but this is just the beginning and their chance to present themselves out there in the market and to continue to grow their business. And we look forward to continuing to support them as time goes on as well. So thanks, Jasmine. Back over to you.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, great. So +8, this program is really a partnership between CORE and +8. And so +8 is, it is home to groundbreaking ideas. It is in WA or in Perth, and it hosts a really premier accelerator. But I have to admit, it's groundbreaking for WA, but it actually really holds its own as an accelerator on the national stage as well. And so, +8 and in partnership with Space Cubed has great boot camps, pre-accelerator sprints like this one, an awesome accelerator program, and it also has awesome programs for, these scale-up startups as well. So this is the traction, you might say, of the accelerator over the last couple of years. So started in 2017, and we've just seen the 4th cohort recently graduate, which is why there's no valuation there. But often, as these startups, in order to be entered into the program, they have a $2 million valuation. So we can say that that's 14 million. And so +8 has accelerated 18 businesses currently at the value of 60 million, and it's received over 7 million in follow-on investments, which is really, really awesome, and great for our country and WA, really, which is great. Okay, so this, as Renee said, the Sprint Pre-Accelerator is really designed for that inclusion piece, to help female founders of the resources and energy businesses really grow their businesses, explore new opportunities, test new markets, test new strategies, and in the hope to accelerate growth. So you're going to see more of that tonight. I'm excited for this. I almost want to, just quickly rush to the presentations because, and I'm just going to put this, on mute. There we go. Okay, so in the program, it was 8 weeks of fun, but we had a structured program. We had some content library of resources that participants could do on their own and self-paced. One of the best things about it was the mentor network, and I'll show you some of our awesome mentors very soon. But lots of awesome opportunities. They all got a bespoke media kit from Hughes PR, which was awesome. And just now these participants are in the alumni community, and they're part of the +8 community, which is great. And there'll also be more events coming up in the future. Okay, so this was really the content, a lot of, as you expect, a bit of business models, customer testing, service design, growth and marketing, legal, financial things, a whole lot of fun. But coupled with this, we had a guest speaker at every session, which was awesome. And this was some of the expertise that our guest speakers brung. And I think that was one of the most important and really awesome things about the program. A lot of these founders just really wanted to know, what it's like to someone who's done it before. And I see some of our guest speakers here tonight, which is great. And so we're super grateful for these guest speakers to dedicate their time and just give back, share their stories and inspire the next generation or the next cohort of awesome female founders in the energy sector. So these are our mentors, a whole awesome bunch of them, and so many of them that were willing to dedicate their time. So in addition to, content and great guest speakers, the participants also were able to, they got paired up with 2 of these mentors each, and they had their kind of one-on-one sessions over the course of the program, which is cool. And yeah, a huge thanks again to these mentors for dedicating their time. Really awesome. Okay, so the prizes. First prize tonight is $3,000 in cash, which is, for a founder in the energy sector, you're really trying to keep your bank balance above zero. So $3,000 is hopefully great. And also $3,000 in PR and marketing. And that comes very generously from Hughes, PR firm. So not only that, is the first place is also going to get a golden ticket to pitch in round 1 of the +8 program. So this is the golden ticket right here, this image. So first prize, we've got the golden ticket, we've got $3,000 in cash, $3,000 in PR, and also Nira has generously sponsored a breakfast with a female founder as well. So it's a huge prize for first place. Then we also have a bespoke prize from Next Chapter, and Nicole from Next Chapter is going to be awarding this prize at her discretion. So we have a first prize and a Next Chapter prize for tonight. So fingers crossed. That you are the winner tonight. Okay, so this is the judging criteria. Our awesome judges are going to be rapidly filling out forms and scoring on these metrics. So customer solution problem fit is very important. Product and tech, is the product better, 10x better than what else is out there? Is the market ready? Do you have a global scalable opportunity? And do you have traction? Do you have evidence of paying customers or month-on-month growth? Or daily active users? So traction is very important. And of course, the team. Does the team have relevant skills? Does it have comparable skills? And does it really, is it going to achieve? Is the team going to achieve what you set out to do? So this is the judging criteria. And so tonight, a bit of housekeeping in terms of the pitches. These participants are going to, we've got 6 participants, and they're going to do a 3 to 5 minute pitch. Most of the pitches are recorded except for one, which we had some tech issues today. But as these participants pitch, I'm going to ask you if you can all add your questions and comment into the Zoom chat. And the reason for this is we really do have a strict 5 minutes of questions, and often we won't be able to actually get to all the questions. So, but a lot of these participants have told me that they really want to learn, use this experience as a learning, and get good learnings out of it. So we don't want to, limit to 2 questions just because we don't have time. We'd love you to put all your questions and comments in the chat, and then our participants can go back through them afterwards and take all your comments on board. So, the judges will be asking, some bespoke questions in terms of their judging criteria, but I also want to incentivize you all to think about how you might be able to help these founders, whether that might be, maybe you're saying, hey, I can really help out here, or hey, you should talk to X, I can make an introduction, hey, have you thought about XYZ? write that down in the chat, and then you know, these participants can take that on board, or they can get back to you at a later date. You can even put your emails in there if you would like to you know, follow up these founders for a meeting, or a, you know, a trial, or even just like a warm introduction. Okay, so hopefully that's all clear. All questions go in the Zoom chat. I'll be picking out a couple, especially from the judges, to actually, you know, talk about. But all the other questions in the Zoom chat won't be ignored. So, okay, so we're going to start with Anastasia. Unfortunately, Anastasia, we did have some technical issues today. So Anastasia is actually going to do a live pitch, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Anastasia can then share her screen. So this is it's very unique. We don't normally do live sharing, but today we are. So Anastasia, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen. And remember, everybody, put your comments in the Zoom chat. Okay,
hello,
Anastasia.
everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. My great pleasure to start this pitching session. And I'd like to start by talking about today's world's most critical challenges, and the fact that addressing them really requires capacity to work collaboratively and across sectors. And yet too often, the way we approach these issues is with the piecemeal and even silent solutions, and with efforts, however passionate, that aren't sufficient to address the problems at the scale at which they exist. So I'd like to ask all of you who dialed in for this presentation today to think, for example, of a challenge that is most pressing to you, and consider all the various individuals affected and the systems at play. And can really a single policy, whether well written, or social program, or even a new technology itself solve this problem? So some problems are wicked, and we have two choices. So one is to see the world simpler. So this means, as a solution seeker, we can choose to focus just on the piece of this problem and tackle just that piece. Or option number two, we can actually engage with multiple stakeholder collaboration, and we can craft solutions that are complex enough to actually address those various perspectives and get those resources necessary to adequately address the challenge. So problem I'm very passionate about, and problem that I'd like you to invite to think about, is around transition to cleaner and sustainable energy in Western Australia. This slide highlights some risks, around the problem, and mainly it's around the fragmentation and safety incidents and growth of unemployment. Because we only have 5 minutes, I probably leave you know, my examples out of the pitch, but we can definitely talk through them. So opportunity that exists is that Western Australia is embracing renewable generation for a brighter energy future. And actually there is a new market design coming into play that creates opportunities for better meet power system needs by bringing diverse mix of storage to Southwest interconnected system. And energy storage and solutions around it is something that I want to talk about. Why don't we engage in the collaboration? Learning. Why don't we allow to innovate in the area of finding more direct and flexible funding? Why don't we share resources and knowledge? And my solution is Energy Storage Consortium for Western Australia. I see it as a member-based, non-for-profit organisation whose mission is to catalyse and grow energy storage industry in Western Australia. We can do this by accelerating widespread deployment of broad range of diverse energy storage solutions and by strengthening energy storage ecosystem. Because energy storage is actually a vital technology solution for enabling sustainable energy use and to address climate change, that wicked problem, that we can be part of a solution. So you asked me how the consortium might work. Well, I imagine it's pretty simple. You join, you get recognized as a leader in energy storage, and I envision different types of membership for different kinds of stakeholders, because I see this cross-sector collaboration with both academia, manufacturers, and industry, everybody involved.
Yeah,
We network.
Oh, there we go.
We network, share, learn, collaborate. And by doing this, we actually support just transition in Western Australia and enable more renewable energy in Swiss. My business model is a non-for-profit. So I see revenue generated by registration and membership, sponsorships and grants, and consulting fees, and expenses in professional services fees. Our regional aspiration target is around 100 megawatt storage deployed, and various membership fees and some revenue projections is based on a successful model that's I've seen in New York State. It's called New York Best Consortium, and they've been operating for 10 years, deploying really extensive amount of storage in the state and really attracting lots of investment and boosting the transition to cleaner energy. When you look at this slide, it's energy storage market size worldwide. I think this is so exciting, so accelerating. You look at the compound annual growth rate in the next 5 years, and it's almost 25%. It's 1,000 gigawatt of energy storage installation worldwide. It means it's a 122-fold explosion of those installations and over $600 billion investment. So the size of opportunity is huge. And question is how Western Australia really utilizes on the growth of this, this booming industry, and how do we make sure that more people benefit from it? More females get involved into leadership in positions in energy space. Market size for my opportunity is of course smaller, and I'm talking about initially maybe up to 50 members. And I see that limitation because I'm comparing myself with the model that I looked in United States. So New York State is much bigger. So I see we want to have as many members. Traction so far. So my original the love with energy storage happened in 2018 over 8 weeks innovation program. And then later on submission to Western Australia Innovator of the Year. And, idea name and team name was Grass Energy, standing for green, reliable, affordable, and stable. So this year I've refreshed my understanding of energy storage market over this 8-week pre-accelerator program. I've engaged with 30 organizations in WA across utilities and regulated government, mining, and of course the energy storage companies, manufacturers themselves, research institutions. So it's been a really exciting journey. And I do have some plans for the future. So I'm happy to talk about this in the Q&A session. And the team, it's myself, futuristic and inclusive with diverse background and international experience in finance, sustainability, technology, and projects portfolio. And Sam Johns in business development and customer relationship management. And my ask for today is sponsorship to continue development of me as a founder, as a cross-sector leader. And I'd love opportunities to join the Accelerator program. So any advice, any support, I'm open to opportunities. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Anastasia. Well done. Awesome. Do we have any questions? I can't see any in the chat. And Anastasia really is at that idea stage, which is awesome. We had a real diversity in stages, as you'll see tonight, stages of business. So Anastasia was really keen to get some feedback. So if you can provide some feedback, maybe it's an introduction to who she should be talking to or what she should be thinking about next. She would really appreciate it if you could put that in the chat at some point. Or a private message to her is also okay in Zoom. You can do that. Okay, so we have a question from Nicole. Coming off the back of the accelerator, how would you plan to engage on board your first members? That is a great question, Nicole. Anastasia.
I guess first things first, as you might notice on my last slide, the ask. I wanted to put some legal blocks in place. So that's first step. I guess I've already got lineup of potential members. I can think of at least 3 and one of them willing to pay, which is extremely exciting. So yeah, I guess if I guess I should continue as the idea.
Okay, good. And in the future, I'm actually, I won't read all the questions out. I'm just going to refer over to you all. So, so Lindsay, are you able, you've got a great question for Anastasia. Are you able to ask your question? Lindsay. Oh, okay. I will ask it for you. Anastasia, have you had a think about legal structures for the consortium? They might need to sign some financial agreements, etc., down the track. Have you thought about this?
Yes, I had initial legal advice. I guess in terms of think through first, you know, what you're trying to achieve, and then think of how you want to set it up. So it might, the feedback was it might not need to be a consortium. However, from my original understanding, you know, the difference between joint venture and consortium is exactly that. You get that independence from the partners, but still partners get to influence the operation. So that's what was appealing in the consortium setup. So yeah, I guess I appreciate the necessity for legal and accounting advice in the future, and it's definitely part of the roadmap and actions plan.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. Roma has a question. I'm going to throw over to you, Roma. Just asking to unmute you, Roma.
You think I'd know that by now. Well done, Anastasia. Well done doing the live gig. I guess my question is just around, there's so many industry associations and they're all starting to branch out from what's historically been their core business. Are there any that you know of moving into the energy storage area here in Western Australia or Australia?
Thank you, Roma, for the question. I guess one of the risks that I've identified is the fragmentation, so the emergence of many associations, organizations, and companies and networks that are trying to leverage the opportunity in new growing industry. So I guess that's where I'm coming and saying, you know, let's unite, let's, you know, make a one focal point of this sheer knowledge. In terms of my assessment of somebody changing the focus to be more energy storage companies, is that more of a question?
No, I guess it was really just around, I suppose commercially you might think of them as competitors, but I mean other established industry associations or groups that are potentially moving into the energy storage space. But that's okay.
I had a slide on what I thought originally, you know, I named alternatives, that energy storage companies and institutions could consider to join in rather than my consortium. So I've actually included, quite a few, and identified that some of the things that I would be focusing is Western Australia. So we've got unique set of regulations here that is very different to other places, and diverse range of technologies, because there are groups like Future Batteries, CRC, where they're doing amazing work, up and downstream the value chain. However, it only covers the batteries, and there are so many amazing energy storage technologies that would be required for industry to transition on the decarbonization path. That's where, again, my value proposition comes into play. So yes, thank you. I thought about that. But again, if you could see somebody is definitely a better alternative than I haven't met them, please do let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Roma, Lindsay, and Nicole, for your great questions. We're going to move on to our next speaker. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so next up we have Erin Bell, and she is going to tell us in her video about Camp Connect app, which is an app to create the ultimate site experience. So I'm actually just going to double check. Sorry, everyone. I just want to double check that the sound, it is very important that we get the sound working for these video pictures. Okay, there we go. All right. And if you can give me the thumbs up when you can hear sound, that will be very good.
Hi, my name's Erin Bell, and I'm here to talk about Camp Connect app and software. We aim to create the ultimate site experience and keeping workers informed, engaged, prepared and connected. So the mining industry holds the highest rate of poor mental health and employee turnover compared to any other industry in Australia. At 22% per average, it's individually costing companies millions. It's unsustainable, especially as the sector grows and companies risk losing their top talent. In our industry analysis, the fat people are living completely different life. They are in a second home they have limited control over, often miscommunication if they don't work at a desk, and information isn't readily available. Emergency management off-site isn't always effective, and we're isolating people further by providing limited engagement opportunities. And they're often left feeling lost, especially if they're new to site or a contractor. My name is Erin Bell and I'm the founder of Camp Connect. Having worked across the industry in FIFO across health, safety, HR and emergency and some surface blasting, get what I like to call street cred, along with my co-founder Scott Adams, who's worked in project management in FIFO mining and construction. Solving these issues is something we're truly passionate about. Over the past 2 years, we've been working on creating Camp Connect mobile app and software to have one simple solution tailored to the industry to solve these issues. So from our product, I guess one of the big things we've done is if you think Google Maps for camp, because finding a room is hard enough, let alone trying to find a muster point in an emergency, the kitchen on your first day, or even the bus stop of trying to get to site. So Camp Connect is an engagement and communication mobile app driven to provide a low-cost, easy-to-use solution to keep workers informed, engaged, prepared and connected. It opens the doors to vast benefits in mental health and wellbeing, productivity, attrition, health, safety and emergency needs, which is basically costing companies a significant amount. The streamlined software and mobile app provides customized on-hand access to company and site information while working offline with SMS and GPS functionality, which is truly unique for this area. In early trials, we've proven effective in alerting all users within a 200-metre radius of a person needing emergency assistance on the local map location. And we can have our key benefits. We're aiming to promote a thriving workforce through positive employee site and village experience, site and village emergency management, mental health and wellbeing, and communication and information management. So unlike other products on the market, Camp Connect solves a number of issues in just one platform, as opposed to many of our competitor one-feature, high-cost apps. We know that workers will want to use Camp Connect, given it would replace many commonly used personal apps and essentially creating Google Maps for site. We feel being in Perth, we're in an opportune position for rapid expansion in the WA resource sector before reaching 406 current mining operations in Australia. So I guess from a traction perspective, after a few resilience building setbacks, as I like to call them, we've added in a number of improvements post our preliminary trials in a remote environment. And we've had a lot of interest shown from industry from our current business discussions. And in just 2 weeks, so we're going to be starting our first large-scale operational deployment with a major WA resource producer. Our key vision is basically we want to aim to be at 1 million users by the end of 2023. And we aim to achieve that through fast deployment in the Australian mining sector and then rapid expansion into the international market. Our main vision is... Hi, my name's Erin Bell and I'm here to talk about Camp Connect and FIFO, easy to use assistance on the emergency management, mental health and wellbeing feature, high cost apps.
Sorry, everybody.
Expansion in the WA resource sector before reaching... So I guess from a traction perspective, after a few resilience building setbacks, as I like to call them, we've added in a number of improvements post our preliminary trials in a remote environment. And we've had a lot of interest shown from industry from our current business discussions. And in just 2 weeks, so we're going to be starting our first large-scale operational deployment with a major WA resource producer. Our key vision is basically we want to aim to be at 1 million users by the end of 2023. And we aim to achieve that through fast deployment in the Australian mining sector and then rapid expansion into the international market. Our main vision is to be the site expectation for the mining industry, such as Microsoft applications are for business. And we plan to achieve this through maintaining being a low-cost software, so it limits barriers to use for even small organisations, while being the top of user experience and functionality. So for our structure, we're currently structured with 2 founders, a newly recruited developer, and we have advisors in legal, accounting, sales and corporate structure. So what we're really looking for in being part of this is ongoing mentoring and advice, because I feel that really has proven invaluable. Any industry networks for deployment opportunities, and capital funding of 250K post-trial, just so we can really ramp up our opportunity to really go for our overseas market, given that we are quite limited at the moment with how we can travel with COVID. So if you'd like to know more about us, please feel free to reach out to me at erin.bell@campconnect.com.au. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Thanks, Erin. Sorry about the blip there. Okay, so we have 5 minutes of questions. If you could, whoever would like to ask a question, I'm prioritising the judges tonight. Can you please post in the chat? Great. Renee, okay. First one in. Off you go.
Yeah, so our pricing structure is basically a licensed software subscription, and then it's paid per user per month as well. So it's less than a cup of coffee, basically, per person. And that's a small coffee too, not your large extra soy milk.
Right. And so Ati's asked, it's a similar question to Renee, but we'll go to Nicole first. Nicole, would you like to ask your question? I didn't give you the chance last time.
Sure, thank you. And I want to say hi, Anastasia. It was really good doing that live. Well done. So, and I wanted to ask here it was really good. I put a question mark there. It shouldn't have been. Great to see competitor analysis, Erin. Are any of them really entrenched or going to create a barrier to entry? Because I really liked how you showed that you're ticking off a few more, obviously services that you're offering make you much more appealing. But, with him, say, starting WA, is there someone you're going to have to really ramp up against?
I'd probably say INX might be a big one because they already do have a roster up, but it's just the roster. Another one I'd probably be looking at is the catering company apps, because if they are quite prevalent already on site, I guess the other part against them though is the fact that we are site communication as well. So, I mean, if you're one of your major companies, you're not really going to be trusting your whole site communication structure with the catering company, because if they change catering companies, they've essentially lost their communication method. So I feel that's the thing, we have enough with our app that and it must features in there that we would be fine at the moment. It would just be, I guess, if one of the other larger one feature ones choose to branch out.
Yeah, I liked your safety feature in terms of, letting people know if there was an issue, and that I thought was really good.
Yeah, so I guess the good thing with that is say if you get bitten by a snake at the moment and you're told to stand still, you just sit there and just scream. This was my method. So I guess with that on the plus, or say from a diversity perspective as well, if you don't feel as safe in a mining environment, or again, something's happened, you can hit that urgent SOS alert and it will actually alert everyone to get you assistance straight away. Instead of needing to call a phone number and try and explain where you are and things like that, they're able to find you straight away on the map.
Awesome. I'm going to go to Sue. I like your question, Sue. Do you mind speaking out and asking it? It's a good question about your why, Erin.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry. When you're ready, Jasmine.
No, go on, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Great pitch, Erin. And I'm just hoping that you're able to share why you're so, it's obvious that you're so passionate about this project and you've lived it and you've experienced it. So I guess I'm wanting to understand where that passion comes from, and what you see so far as your biggest challenge.
I think thank you, Sue, and thank you for being such a fabulous mentor. I think the biggest thing for me is the fact, even from day one, I know when I first started in mining, it was something that was meant to be like a dream. I cried when I got my contract because it took so long to get into mining. And I think as well, it's one of those things, you start your first day, half the time, I almost assume now that your uniform's not going to be there when you get there. But you get there, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what bus to get on. I know my housemate told me don't bring a jumper because it doesn't get cold. It was their coldest night on record at -1. Took me 45 minutes to find my room in the dark. And then I remember getting there thinking, oh my God, I have no friends. What have I done? I don't know anyone. I couldn't find my room. And I feel as well, it's, there's so much talk about the mental health issue, but I feel that it's really important that we're actually trying to do more to mitigate it as opposed to just talking about it. And I know it's good to be sharing stories and getting people discussing it, but I feel a real big key to mitigating it is having something to do for people to be able to socially engage. That's not just the bar. And then I guess you look at, all those other issues where people are feeling lost in their role because rules and regulations are different based on different sites, but they hold so much validation. And then people don't want to admit when they don't know things either. So I guess having a simple platform that they can refamiliarize just to really boost their confidence in where they are as well. So I guess, it's all those kind of things bunched into one. But then I guess as well too, from my background, I've rolled out a lot of software programs in mining. So I know one of the key attitudes I've heard is, unless work's going to pay for my phone, why should I download their work app? So I guess that's always really stuck with me from a user experience perspective. With everything we've put in, we've really made it so people are going to want to use the app. It's not just going to be another thing that gets brought in and then no one uses it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Erin. You have lots of other great questions in the chat that I encourage you to look at. But we are going to move on to our next presenter. Okay. Annette. So Annette has a wonderful solution to improve how humans interact with technology. I won't say any more. I'll let her pitch do the talking for me. Okay.
Hi, I'm Annette McClelland. I'm from Takuna, and we're improving the ways humans interact with technology. Chiral controllers are overly complex. They're fragile and confusing, can take months to train, and often too many operators are needed to get the job done. In aerial cinematography, for example, a team often includes one person piloting the drone, another person on the drone's camera, and perhaps a spotter as well. Leighton Shaw from the New South Wales Police Force, Manager Innovation, found New South Wales Police are not limited to submersibles. We have ROV capability in the air as well as the land. Putting aside questions of accreditations, we need to maintain we are in a position where every single ROV we have requires its own controller, requires its own base station, requires its own method of connectivity, and does its own thing when it comes to recording information and disseminating it. My take is that irrespective of whether the ROV is sea, land or air, they share a lot of characteristics, which probably explains why the dual joystick paradigm is so prevalent. This paradigm needs to be challenged. A standard controller is needed. I'm so very tired of revisiting the same topics each time we want or need to introduce a new ROV. Therefore, what we've developed at Takuna is a tactile, intuitive 6 degrees of freedom control law. It's one-handed, universal, and robust. It reduces the time, cost, personnel, and training required to get jobs done.
I'm Michael Griffin. As you can see here, I'm able to control the aircraft entirely with one hand.
Over the last 4 years, we've been through several different iterations and models of the controller, adapting it to specific user needs and applications with partners. We've actually tested our technology with thousands of users, from 3-year-olds to 83-year-olds. They were all able to pick it up and remotely pilot devices within minutes. From drone control to bomb disposal to air traffic simulation navigation, these are some of the applications users in the field have seen our technology could help them do their jobs. Aerial cinematography professionals saw that with our controller, they can send out teams of 1 rather than 3 for many jobs that would previously been too difficult for a cinematographer to do on their own. Our controller also reduced user strain for all users. Remember Leighton Shaw from New South Wales Police? After testing our controller, he found, "My thoughts are that the controller, as demonstrated, might well be pointing the way to a future where we can rapidly change ROV to requirements by retaining our ability to control, record, disseminate, and retaining existing security infrastructure. Removing the issue of multiple controllers and standardizing our connectivity infrastructure will enable us to focus on what an ROV can do and not worry about how it does it." We also feel that we could implement our controller into on-site emergency response teams, geos, surveyors, and enviros applications. Undersea Rov is our primary repeat paying customer and our first partner. They have bought multiple units for controlling underwater rovers for biosecurity, maritime maintenance, underwater exploration, and more. Since recently developing the rover incorporating our technology, they've received requests for quotes of larger external purchase orders and have started the trial with New South Wales Police. Hear from Ian Holmes, client from Undersea Rov.
It's just so intuitive to fly with that I don't really have to think. That's flying with one hand.
Taking into account applications in industries such as construction, energy, accessibility, space, defence, robotics, medicine, gaming, and more, we estimate our total addressable market through partnerships with device manufacturers, B2B2C, would be over $5 billion US. This is similar to other industry estimates such as PR Newswire that stated the human-machine interface market will grow to $6.5 billion US by 2025. We've come from problem to proof of concept to prototypes to payments and paying customers bootstrapped over the last 4 years. We're inventing innovative technology and hope to work with more partners to see it implemented in more industries and more user applications. Michael and I are tech in hustler. We personally know the pain points of this dilemma and have the empathy, work, and data to prove it. Ideally, our technology is implemented by big companies that shape technology today. We want to partner with existing manufacturers to help them give their customers a friendlier control experience. That's what we're looking for right now, partnership opportunities and collaboration testers in the field that want to introduce our controller into their jobs. We are Takuna, and we're improving the ways humans interact with technology.
Awesome. Well done. Excellent. And I love, Annette, that you have it right there with you. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to open the chat for all the questions. So Denise, throwing over to you. Can the controller be used in either hand?
Yes, so we have iterations that can work in either hand. So this one, it's ambidextrous, and it can be put together by the customer as they see fit, wherever, in whatever iteration they want.
Awesome. Okay, Renee's also got a question.
Yeah, so something that we discovered talking to industry throughout this program is that safety is very important. The main competitor in this space would probably be the Xbox controller. They use the Xbox controller to reduce training time because people are familiar with it and it's easy to buy if it breaks down, because it does break down very regularly due to dust factors. Our control in particular is pretty robust for this, and again, the training is minutes rather than months for standard 2
What
joystick.
the fuck? I've never used this. I don't even know how to fucking work it.
No. Just watching a Zoom.
Okay, just going to put you on mute. Sorry, go on, Annette.
Yeah, so would particularly be anything with site surveying where currently user manually pilots it, and it's a task and chore that they really don't like doing for safety or remotely, and that they're not going to do it every day possibly, therefore getting trained to do it for several months isn't really worthwhile. So this way everyone can get trained up on our controller within minutes and they can retain that knowledge for years afterwards.
Awesome, good one. Going to pass on to Nicole for her question.
Hi, well done, very interesting. Having seen a number of products crowdfunded and around the whole molds, manufacturing, I'm interested because you're talking about moving a lot of products from 2 to 1 controller. What is your kind of your case to convince them that this is the right approach? Is it, they're going to increase sales, or, I mean, I'll let you answer that one. But I'd be interested in that because that's obviously a big part of the business model.
Yeah, it's primarily the reduction in training time. So currently a lot of time and money is spent training users on the current interface and using 2 to 3 users to actually get the job done. So this means many jobs can be moved to just 1 person on our controller. And was it you? That's Nicole asking about existing products to reconfigure. It's HID compatible. So it works with QGC and standard recognition analog CAN bus that already exist and can just plug in. In fact, our underwater rovers, we were flying drones at a STEAM demo day, and they asked us, can we use your thing to control our thing? And we're like, we think it'll work. And within 15 seconds, we were flying an underwater rover for the first time. So yes, it does plug in and work on the standards.
Awesome. Any other questions for Annette? Roma, over to you.
Great pitch, Annette, and that looks really exciting. I guess I was curious, firstly, around part of Nicole's question around adapting, like if you've already got, people already have these controlling things, so then adapting it to the new one. Or is it just a plug-in? And secondly, you mentioned like game Xbox controllers. I mean, that could be a huge market. Is that something you're exploring?
Yes, so it does work as a gaming controller. It currently can plug in HID compatible. We have also actually been looking into the accessibility market because it can be operated just 2 fingers. We've had users with cerebral palsy and multiple sclerosis use it for gaming and CAD work and also to fly drones.
Awesome. Awesome. We have a great question from Bernice. How much capital is Takuna looking to raise? Bernice, is this a question that you're looking to invest?
Yeah.
Tell us more, Annette.
We're not currently looking for investment. We're open to strategic partnerships that may contain investment. We've been able to bootstrap this far. So what we're really looking for right now is those strategic partnerships and customer sales. So pay us for the product and you might be able to get involved.
Right. Very good. Very good. Okay. If there is a question that does, come into your mind as we keep going through, don't hesitate to just put it in the chat and just reference Annette, and Annette can always keep looking through. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to our next participant, which is Janine, and Janine is going to tell us all about digital twinning. So, okay.
Digital Twinning Australia. Hello everybody. At Digital Twinning Australia, we optimise assets for our owners and operators so that they can create values in ways they imagine. The problem we've got with the Industrial 4 is that it's created a number of very complex and wicked problems. We want to see everything visualised, we want to be able to predict, and we want to be able to personalise. We want to be able to predict our assets' condition and criticality. We've got a raft of technologies at the moment out there collecting masses of data, but we're actually not being able to predict or actually be able to look at those critical asset systems or work out how we can take all these digital assets, if you like, and turn them actually into some sort of capital value through intangibles. The other part of that is that we want to be able to collaborate, but we want to be able to provide operations and maintenance people with information that's relevant to them, engineers and original equipment manufacturers, and executives want to be able to go and look at their businesses without thinking that they need a data science degree or somebody sitting next to them saying, oh, can you punch something like this out for me? It's a very challenging time about this visualisation. At Digital Twinning Australia, what we've done, through our R&D activities, we've created an open platform. It's actually bundled product and services, and it houses synchronising digital twinning. So you take the operating data for critical systems and you actually stick it inside a static 3D model of those critical systems so that you can actually see the interoperability between your technologies and your data. And what we want to be able to do is leverage what you've got through your expertise and your people, and we provide you with this pioneering platform, industry leading and services expertise with our people. How we work is that we take a minimal viable product approach as a kickoff. So what this is doing is it's allowing you to have a look, a touch, a feel and throw a few rocks. That then makes it much easier to actually then scale up for your critical systems platform, which then allows good governance and the personalisation around the data so that you can predict, prescribe and then move into some quite intelligent machine learning and artificial intelligence through the analytics platform that is part of the platform itself. This minimal viable product, I'm just going to dwell on it for a moment, because what it does, it actually confirms the value requirement and scope for which systems. Value proposition is really important, and so you need to be able to see this value proposition not only just from the requirement and scope, but also how that single point of truth is actually seen, how it works, how you get to see condition, how you get to see interoperability. And you want to be able to do this with a no regrets investment. Once we've done that, then what we were able to do is with confidence move forward into strategically building critical system by critical system of your complete assets. Our successes, we have quite a substantial pipeline. We've got negotiations with government and private sector across energy and mining. We've also got MVPs about to kick off with Epic Energy and Oz Minerals, and then we have got a couple of customers, Heathgate Resources and Catholic Education. Catholic Education is actually about their physical assets. I have quite a substantial team around me. There's 8 core people. I've got an ecosystem, I've got an advisory board, I've got professional services in Piper Alderman and Deloitte, and I am the founder and CEO. Just before I say thank you, I'd like to also acknowledge that my team has won quite a few awards. We were Technology and Innovation finalists for the Minerals Council of Australia. I'm an Exceptional Woman in Resources finalist for the South Australia Chamber of Mines and Energy, and Consult Australia has had us as finalists and highly commended for our technological innovation. Thank you very much for your time, and please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and give me a call or ask me some questions now.
Excellent. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Do we have some questions? We have one from Holly. Holly, would you like to ask your question?
Hey everyone, great pitch, Jean. Yeah, I was just wondering, you know, there's a lot of people that kind of are pitching doing digital twinning on the market. How would you differentiate yourself from the others out there doing this?
Hello, Holly. You're right. There are. It's a very sexy term at the moment to say that we're all doing digital twinning when it's probably debatable whether we are or we aren't. I think we are. And what we're doing is that we're operating at a systems level, not at a component level. So it's not just pump to pump. We're actually looking at how, you know, 5 pumps, 100 pumps are actually driving a system that generates or produces the actual materials out the other end. Now, what's unique about that is that organisations themselves typically have a whole lot of engineering data, and they're using some of the typical software during construction is in the Autodesk products. Everyone's got Microsoft or AWS or any of these other more common platform products. I've selected at this stage Microsoft, and so we use Microsoft to bring data from the operating systems into a static 3D model of a particular system. So if you like, we've taken Microsoft and we've taken Autodesk, and we've actually built a piece of software that connects these two things together. What this does, it actually challenges the major players that are currently in the market, because we come in as a low-cost market entry point for a lot of organisations.
Awesome. Anyone else?
The price.
I put another question in there.
Right. Someone wants to know how much it costs. I'll just answer how much it costs for you. So for the minimal viable product, so this is about as much about actually defining the requirement and the scope as it is about actually enabling those innovators from within the organisations to actually touch and feel and do all those sorts of things. And so there's a whole transformation change process going on. Now, to actually build up that minimal viable product, we've got it currently priced at $150,000, and it is from that $150,000 that they then are able to build a full defensible business case. More questions?
Awesome. Okay. Anyone else have a question for Janine?
That's disappointing.
I'm actually going to copy Sue and ask you, Janine, what's been your biggest challenge so far?
My biggest challenge so far has been price. Because of what we have been able to achieve in the synchronising of digital twins is seen as an extraordinary feat given the price that we're actually offering our clients to kind of enter the market with. And I tell this story about, you know, I had a number because we've been in R&D for a while, and I came up with a number that I believed not only covered our costs but also gave us a reasonable margin. We usually run at around 16 to 20% on margin on things that we do. And I walked out of a meeting and walked straight back into my office and said, right, we just have to add $100,000 to the price because we're unbelievable, you know, at our current price, and we're even still unbelievable at the price that we've got at 150. So price is my biggest challenge at the moment.
Interesting. Interesting. Very good. Okay, another question from Holly. Holly, would you like to ask directly?
Sure. Yeah, I was just wondering about, Janine, like what other markets you're looking to move into, like whether that's like other geographies and are you thinking about any other, like a business model kind of enterprise versus kind of SaaS offering?
Okay, so two things. The mining and energy market in and of itself is actually very large. And in the mining market, it's about $34 billion is where it's pitched at the moment. So we've got miners in Australia, and we've also been approached and are being pursued vigorously by a miner in the UK, which at the moment is a bit challenging, but we are somehow managing to pull that off, which is good. In terms of the other markets, the market that I'm also interested in, which is where that construction and education department comes from, is that in that sector, they have an enormous amount of physical assets that as they start to now modernise those assets, i.e. we've got a huge investment in upgrading schools. We're putting a lot of energy systems into those schools. And so what I've done is I've actually twinned up a school where it's got one of these more modern buildings and with its solar system. And I've actually using that as a demonstration site for a couple of reasons. One is to actually get the data into the classroom in a form that the kids can actually start working with, so that by the time grade 3s get to grade 12, which will be in 2030, we've actually got a workforce that really does understand what virtual power plants look like, what do electric vehicle charging stations look like, those sorts of things. Now, with that concept, I'm now going into some of those government agencies and I'm saying, why can't we do this same thing with all our government assets, physical assets? And that then starts to change what actually happens in facilities management and those sorts of areas. But our core really is in that physical asset. Anything that's got a bit of energy in it also makes it very interesting for the future for us.
Awesome. And last question, I'm going to throw over to Nicole. She's got a great question for you, Janine.
Thank you.
Hi, fantastic. I enjoyed that. And I mean, I was quite interested when you talk about the team and you've got quite a lot of people around you and talk about international expansion and a lot going on. I mean, yeah. I'd be interested in how you're dealing with the team development, and obviously you've got this great value. How do you maintain that as you grow?
Look, it is one of the other challenges that I'm dealing with at the moment, which is what my ask is actually about. And that is that I'm a good leader, and people like to work with me and they like to be around me, which is why I've got so much around me, really. And for me to be able to maintain and take that forward, I actually need someone else to run the business. Right, that boring stuff of looking after all of that gear, someone else can do that, because then I can look after the development of both the business in itself, if you like, talking to others, but I take a lot of the younger people that hang around with us and who are employees, because we actually do have a lot of people who hang around. I can't afford them all at the moment, but once I get a couple more jobs going, then we'll be able to afford more. But I need to spend more time with them. I need to actually, give them the depth that they actually need to move forward. And some of the young people I have now, give them 12 months and they should be running my company, and I could go and sit on the beach. No, I'll never do that.
Okay, I'm conflicted here because we've got a great question from Roma, but I know we're out of time. So real quick answer, Janine. Right. Does COVID affect you pursuing leads in the UK?
I've had to really contain it. I've done two things. One is I got some traction in the US and I was able to stop that. In the UK, I haven't been able to stop this one mining company. I've been able to stop everything else except one mining company. Yes, it makes it very complicated. However, at the moment, I think I'm managing it okay.
Okay, good one. All right. We have another great question, but Janine, maybe you can keep reading that in the chat. Okay, we have another great participant, Vanessa. She is going to tell us all about non-toxic minerals extraction. So let me share my screen again with you. Okay.
Extracting precious and other metals from ore is fundamental to the business of any mining company. Being able to do this more efficiently can literally add hundreds of millions of dollars to the company's bottom line. Moreover, methods currently used, for example in gold leaching, use things such as arsenic, cyanide, or aquaregia. I'm Vanessa from Trashed, and we believe that we can help mining companies extract greater amounts of precious and other metals from ore cost effectively using a non-toxic solution. In particular, we believe that there are 5 key benefits from using our solution. Firstly, it's no more expensive per gram than current processes used. Secondly, it enables companies to extract a greater proportion of precious and other metals, and to do this faster. It also enables them to extract multiple metals simultaneously, and it uses a non-toxic solution, meaning that the costs associated with liquid disposal, including environmental costs, are minimised. To date, our solution has mostly been used in the electronic waste sector. Really, that's just because that's where initial demand has come from. For example, in the US, it's currently in use by a company that handles the hardware from a large computer manufacturer. However, we've always had applying this solution to the mining sector front of mind, unlike some of our competitors who have optimised their solution just for the electronic waste sector. In addition, we've always had cost front of mind and the need to ensure that our solution can reliably scale, for example, by building it in a modular fashion. So what's the market for applying this to the mining sector? Well, we think it's sizable based on global annual values of precious and other metal sales. In addition, there's currently something like 3,500 tailings dams worldwide. Imagine if we could reduce the size and scale of even some of these, or indeed reduce the need to build new ones altogether. So in terms of application to the mining sector, we've currently got trials underway or completed in places such as Canada, Argentina, and China. These are all to date focused on extracting gold, and results have been as expected or better than expected. Clearly, from here, we'd like to start doing trials in our home country of Australia. Our team in Australia is small and mostly focused on business development. We're supported by a network of external advisors, and we've entered into a contractual relationship with a company overseas to help us set up the production equipment underpinning this process to ensure that that's running smoothly and to provide ongoing technical support and staff training as required. What brings our team together is a common sense of mission and purpose. We're all passionate about tackling sustainability, and we believe that the way that you do this is first and foremost by bringing solutions to market which are better and cheaper than the products that they replace. That's the way you get mass market adoption of solutions and hence really turn the dial on tackling sustainability. So what we're looking for in Australia is some initial trial partners to do essentially what we're doing with mining companies overseas. So we would ask the mining company to send us a small amount of tailings material or waste rock, plus geological estimates of the amount of, for example, gold content in the sample. We would then run that through our process to extract additional amounts of precious metals, show that we can do that successfully and cost effectively. We would then ask the mining company to work with us to do a fuller cost benefit analysis of the additional revenue opportunities associated with using our solution, as well as the cost savings, including the environmental cost savings. Of course, over time, we'd look to extrapolate the results and explore the potential of not just applying this to additional extraction from tailings material, but also potentially to use it in companies' core extraction processes. I'm Vanessa from Trashed, and we believe that we can help mining companies extract a greater proportion of precious and other metals from ore cost effectively using a non-toxic solution.
Awesome. Well done. Great. Okay, we have some questions. Holly, would you like to go first?
Hey, yeah, great presentation, really interesting. And I know you probably can't share too much, but I was wondering if there's anything you can actually elaborate a little bit more on the technology itself, how it works, I guess, compared to current incumbent processes.
Right, so obviously what it's made of is the secret sauce, but essentially it's a non-toxic solution. Again, it's a chemical process, and it sort of strips out the precious and other metals, which can then be separated off cost effectively.
Awesome. And we're going to throw over to Roma for her question. Just going to unmute you.
Sorry, speed judging and commenting is very multitasking.
Good point.
Yeah, thanks, Vanessa. My question was really relating to seeing that you've trialled this technology in other countries, but not Australia. I was just wondering, is there any particular barrier or issue as to why that you haven't done that in your home country, as you said?
It truly is just that's where initial market demand comes from, in that sort of odd South Australian, you know, everything has to be done interstate or overseas first before people will trial it here. And truly, we just have had quite a bit of demand from the electronic waste sector, which has tended to stop us from really getting going here. Obviously, ores are different around the world, and, you know, hence we'd like to trial some ores here, and we're also told that South Australian ores are quite complex as well, and indeed, you know, in other parts of Australia. So truly, it's just that combination of, you know, again, things always need to be tried elsewhere first sometimes before, you know, getting traction in your home market, but also just literally we've had demand from other sectors.
Yeah, okay, thanks, good answer.
And following on to that, Nicole had a great question. Are you being paid for the trials?
No, not yet. So we are asking the mining company to obviously pay their costs associated with the trial, and we pay our costs. The costs are fairly minimal because we don't need huge amounts of material to do the initial testing.
Okay, any follow-up there, Nicole?
Yeah, so yeah, because it's quite interesting. I wasn't sure with the trials, you know, depending on how the terms used, and is the idea that you mentioned in that flow that there was this ongoing revenue opportunities. I mean, is that going to be something that's standardized as you come out of these different trials, or is it resultant on the trials, and in terms of going forward on a revenue model?
Agreed. I mean, I guess the short answer is at the moment we don't have enough sample size of trials in order to work out whether there'll be a standard equation for that or a little bit more specific, and that will again possibly come down to the underpinning ore, but we would hope to have a standard model over time.
Okay. Oh, you're getting lots of questions, Vanessa. I'm going to throw you over to Tina. Tina, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, I wanted to know that because you mentioned that you've got a secret source of for your technology. When you're trialing Australia, do you need to change those compositions to make it work for different ores, or it's all pretty standard?
No, I mean, I guess you never know these things 100% certain until you actually trial on site in a site-specific location. But to date, we've been able to use the same solution at every site.
And to follow on that, are toxic metals, radioactive elements a problem for your process?
You've just asked me a question I don't know the answer to. So far, we haven't had that problem in that there hasn't been radioactive elements in the samples that we've tested. Forgive me, I'd have to come back on that one.
Okay, awesome. Maybe the person who asked that question, any follow-up there, or is that what you were looking for? Sorry, your name is MRPFR. So, I'm just going to
sorry. Yeah, it's me, Prue Freeman. Sorry, that's my work login. I don't know why it shows on Zoom. Yeah, well, obviously in South Australia, an awful lot of our materials in tailings are radioactive. So Yeah, I was just asking the question, interested to know, because I'd imagine there'd be some toxic metal risks in some of the e-waste that you're processing as well. So I presume your process would have, you'd have some approaches to dealing with some of those more obscure and dangerous metals.
That's correct. We do in electronic waste, we have encountered that problem. Forgive me, I'd have to ask my more technically minded colleagues to help me on that, but I can come back on chapter and verse with that separately after this, if that's okay.
Excellent, awesome. And let's take a final question from Brendan. Brendan, would you like to ask your question?
Yep, sure. So I just wanted to know if there is a difference in duration to extract the metals, or if there's an improved recovery results with your method compared to existing processes that the mining industry uses now.
So both. So we are able to extract a higher proportion of precious and other metals via our solution, extract multiple metals simultaneously, and the leaching time is much quicker. So for example, for gold, we've achieved times between 4 and 8 hours.
Thank you.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay, so we are going to go to our final participant, Michelle. Let me share my screen again. Excellent. And Michelle is going to tell us all about the creative ways to identify and log rocks. Okay. Sound does come.
Did you know that 20 to 80% of all rocks at a mine may be logged incorrectly? This can cause huge problems and even total mine failure, with most mines worth more than $1 billion. At Hyperspectral Intelligence, all co-founders have a PhD. With over 5 decades of combined experience in hyperspectral data processing, we build products and services to solve problems like this.
Identifying rocks is difficult, but it is key to a successful mine, which is why we developed the Geologer Hyperspectral Rock Analyzer, which collects shortwave infrared hyperspectral data and high-resolution RGB imagery from the surface of drill core. The system can scan up to 500 meters of drill core per day in a safe and non-destructive manner. To get it to any mine site, we have designed the Geologer to be robust and portable. The Geologer has been successfully used at several mine sites. The data it collects are uploaded to a secure cloud platform where they are processed using Hyperspectral Intelligence's proprietary tools. The outputs produced are customized for each deposit, providing guaranteed benefits, such as a complete reduction in human error, a 2-fold improvement in throughput, 5 times more detailed results, and the end of incorrect drill core logs. At this time, 2 geologers are deployed with Tier 1 mining companies. Working with mine geologists, we customize the geologger outputs to replicate the logs they produce while adding 20 to 80% additional information that cannot be obtained by visual inspection. Because every drill core in a project is logged the same way using the geologger, the results are internally consistent. This means that units can be objectively correlated between drill holes, leading to much more meaningful 3D models. These logs can then be used to identify optimized sampling locations. This ensures that any analytical data collected from these drill cores are truly representative. This can mean that fewer samples need to be collected, which can save a lot of money on sampling and analytical costs. And in the end, the results are more meaningful. Compared to other similar types of technology on the market, the Geologger is portable, accurate, fast, intuitive to use, and affordable, with an operational cost of approximately $5 a meter. In mining, new technologies are often tested to see if they can shorten the discovery pipeline and reduce project risk. With the Geologger, there can be a 10 times improvement in drill core logging efficiency, with logging being one of the most critical tasks in a mining or exploration program. To purchase or lease a Geologger or to get more information, please visit our website at hyperspectralintelligence.com.
Awesome. Okay. Well done. Very well done. And so I have to acknowledge Michelle. Unfortunately, COVID has meant that she couldn't come back to South Australia, or has had to remain in Canada. And her commitment to this program has really been outstanding, because every week she has turned up without fail for a 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. class, and I think sometimes it's even 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. class, especially when she's had important meetings the next day. So yeah, well done on your efforts there, Michelle. It's really inspiring. Okay, over to the questions. Who's first? I know the judges are probably furiously writing. Let's go to Sue first. Oh, sorry, Sue. That was I'm reading your one from the last one. Any questions?
Oh, can I just jump in, Jasmine? Yeah. Mine was a bit long to type.
Sure.
Yeah, great presentation, Michelle. I was really interested to hear, seeing that you're saying, compared to other tools on your market, yours is a lot more affordable and more portable. I guess two questions I had was, how much cheaper is that per meter than other solutions? And have you had to sacrifice anything in terms of data quality or anything like that to make it more portable and more affordable?
We built the instrument based on previous use of the other types of instruments available. And so the other instruments, such as CoreScan and TerraCore, range in price from $20 to $40 a meter. And we built this instrument to be operated at $5 a meter. Because of our sophisticated data processing, we actually provide results that are much more accurate and precise than the other systems. So it's not so much that we've sacrificed the equipment or the process to lower the price. It's more that we've actually are using more sophisticated data processing and using more portable and robust instrumentation.
Awesome. Anyone else? Excellent. Nicole.
Hi, very interesting. And I was just wondering, in terms of target market opportunity, where are you kind of going first and maybe hard in terms of taking the product out?
Right, so for most drilling projects where they have at least 20,000 meters, so there are lots of smaller projects that we can do on a case-by-case basis, but really this machine is a workhorse that can process a lot of rocks in a short amount of time. So the idea is that you would have, it can process between 40 and 70,000 meters a year. So those kinds of drilling projects is what it's built for.
Okay, Sue, throwing over to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look, I thought your introduction was really captivating and it got me in. So, and I'm going to pretend that I know more than I know, but do you actually use nuclear magnetic resonance machines and technology at all to, drill down even further?
No, this is a surface analysis. So we're using shortwave infrared reflectance, and which penetrates a few microns into the surface.
Yeah, sure. Okay, no, you great presentation. Loved all your graphics and your images and zoning in, and it was very visual. It was really engaging. Well done.
Thanks. Awesome. While the others may be writing, I'm going to ask you a question, Michelle. So COVID has limited your physical location. Has COVID affected you distributing these or getting clients or trials? Tell us more about that.
I think it's the opposite. At this point, it's actually much more difficult to get people on site and to get experienced drill core loggers to a mine. And so what's happening is people and companies are looking at alternatives, and the Geologer fits that alternative. So instead of our machine is shipped without an operator, the operators are trained on site remotely. And we actually just have 2 units that have been deployed recently, completely remotely with online training.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Anyone else?
And there's the question about the from Roma.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Roma. Please tell us.
Yes, so there is a lot of commercial, there's a lot of commercial interest, but there's 2 categories of it. There are companies that are interested in exploring new technologies as kind of a exploration, or not exploration, but to try new things out. And then there are companies that have actual problems that need to be solved.
And we prefer working with companies that have a pressing issue that needs to be solved. And those are usually the projects where you have the largest amount of success. So right now we have 2 more machines coming, and those will be deployed at places where they are needed, and to identify swelling clays, to identify different lithologies, to help grade ore.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in, seeing as I was there, but I think Josh Letcher is on the call here, but I was wondering, what do they use on the moon, for example, to do samples there? Could you put this in a rocket and send it to the moon, for example?
It's exactly the same technology. So this kind of technology has been on every moon and rover sent from Earth since the beginning. So this is a one of the tools they use to measure rocks in outer space and on planetary missions as well.
Awesome. Okay. Final question from me. Michelle, how easy is this to scale up? What's the production time to make a geologger? If you had a lot of demand, through COVID, is there a barrier there?
There's always barriers, but I think that really what we're aiming for is a 2x growth each year for a hardware company. That's quite ambitious. But this year we have 2 machines running. We hope to have another 6 coming in 2021, and then just growing at a doubling rate as we go forward. And with 14 machines, we would be the largest company of this size in the world. So yeah, so that it's not a huge amount of growth required to become the #1 company.
Great, awesome. And one from Anastasia, what is your ask today?
We're looking for projects, we're looking for customers. So if you know of a mine that has a problem that needs to be solved, they have 20,000 meters of drill core or more, and that they need help logging drill core, then that's what we're looking for right now, especially in Australia.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you very much. One final clap for all the participants. Excellent work. Judges, how are we going? Prue, Roma, Nicole, have you sent your sheets to Holly? Okay, excellent. All right, so as Holly collects those, I would just like to, I would actually like to pass on to Nicole. Nicole is, while Holly kind of does the mathematics in the background, Holly's going to tell us all about the Female Founders Fair. So yeah, over to you, Nicole.
Hi everyone, and it's such a pleasure to be involved. I've just really impressed by all of the presentations tonight, so you should all be very proud, and not just at what you've presented, but what you're actually achieving. It's really impressive, and I keep seeing that up and down here. So fantastic. And thank you for the opportunity to judge. I'm very pleased. I've become involved because although I'm Hong Kong based, originally from Brisbane, and what we do is we're an Asia Pacific Australia based business looking at supporting women around their funding cycle and how do you access all forms of capital. And I have a crowdfunding business, but we also look at lending, revenue-based finance, grants, everything. So off the back of that, talking to Core and Plus 8 was, how could we have our membership support one of the founders pitching tonight, and so we have offered that as a prize, and I thought everyone was fantastic. And reflecting that our business focuses on the funding cycle and getting ready to pitch through our training programs and everything, we are going to, we'd like to award that to Erin from Camp Connect, reflecting where she is in her business cycle. Everyone was simply amazing. And that just reflects a little bit more our business, I suppose, versus any of the businesses that pitched tonight. So, but I think I've walked away smarter tonight. I really feel that. So yeah, so it's a real pleasure, and I can reach out to Erin separately after this and through the team.
Awesome, well done, and well done, Erin. And I know, Nicole, what you mean by walking away smarter. I feel that after every week with these participants. Okay, and did you want to also, you have a plug for the Females Founders Fair as well?
I can plug everything. I can talk
Excellent.
all day on what I do. I love it. I love working with female founders. It's such a pleasure and privilege. So we are running on November 19th, what we're calling our female funders fair. And what it's focused on is we have brought a number of speakers and experts together, and I'm sure we can share the link around. And it's we have a roundtable on femtech and the female consumer opportunity. There's been, I love how someone was showing some of the PR Newswire statistics earlier in one of the presentations. I think it was Takuna. I mean, the numbers out there for some of these industries are fantastic. So we've got actually a femtech AI business out of South Australia involved in that, as well as Visa, a female-focused venture capital firm, and some diversity chiefs coming together to talk about how we developing products that work for women around that space. We're also doing mentoring with angels, the largest angel community here, based out of Hong Kong and Shanghai, but they look all across Asia. Is going to do some speed mentoring. So we're running that, but we're also running some workshops to support that on bias training. And I can get into the whole promotion versus prevention questions, but they're on our website. And then we're also doing anti-bias training for investors to educate them on how they can better engage with female founders to support their ability to increase their funding opportunities. And we have a special edition podcast, which we just recorded yesterday with a leadership coach, a digital data expert, and an investor on speaking with conviction to particularly your financial statements and data. And as you're going through your growth plans, digital is a big part. How are you hiring properly, but how are you deploying capital? Because if you're asking for money, you ask for it once, you better deploy it well before you ask again. So we like making sure that you utilize whatever you ask for really well. So we do a lot, and I would love to share that link and invite everyone to come on and join.
Excellent, thank you. I love that you're doing anti-bias training for investors. That's wonderful.
I know, and we
certainly needed.
And we're getting signups. That's what I'm most impressed about.
So great.
Not that we're running it, but people interested. Yeah,
that is excellent. Now I'm also going to pass it on to Renee, and she has a small plug.
Thank you, Jasmine, and thank you, Nicole, for your contributions tonight. I just wanted to mention our upcoming event, which is the Core Exchange. It's our flagship event for the year. On Thursday, the 3rd of December, we're hosting a virtual innovation showcase. We are currently curating a list of the hottest 30 innovators across Australia as part of that conference. We're really looking to identify the ones to watch as part of that list. So we would love you to join us for that upcoming Core Exchange. Registrations for that are now open, so please jump online with our website and do that going forward as well. Thanks, Jasmine.
Excellent, excellent. Awesome. And any other plugs from Nira or Prue? Roma or Prue, do you have any small plugs before we move on? Okay, so this scoring is in. We have some winners now, and Nicole has already awesomely announced Aaron as the next chapter raise winner, and so that is an awesome prize of $390 US in value, which is awesome. Now our winner is getting $3,000 in cash and $3,000 in PR costs or to use on PR. They are also getting a golden ticket to pitch for the +8 Accelerator, and they are going to get an excellent breakfast with an awesome female founder provided by Nira. So I'm going to pass to Renee again, and she is going to give us the honours.
And I really wish we had the ability to do a drum roll here when we're online with this, because I feel like we don't get the lead up that we need. I need a 3-piece band in the background. It is my great pleasure to announce our winner from the inaugural Core Sprint 2020 cohort is Takuna. Congratulations, Annette.
Excellent. Great. Well done, Annette.
Thank you. Wow.
Would you like to say some words?
Well, thank you to everyone. It was such a fantastic program to be a part of, and it was great to meet so many female founders and learn from so many my peers, and as well as the ones we met every week about their own careers and journeys and processes. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome. And I would love to see all shining faces. And I'm going to take a quick photo of you if you would like. Very, very nice smiling faces for everyone. And you can just put your camera off if you would not like to be involved. And all right, everyone's smiling. I'm going to take a nice picture of you all. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Okay, cool. So that is all for tonight, the inaugural core sprint. We have many post-program things lined up for the participants, more networking, more breakfasts, more events, and honestly, really well done, everyone. It was a huge effort, and we hope that we'll see you all soon, at some point in the community. And yeah, have a great evening. And that is all from us. Any final words?
It was awesome.
Fantastic event. Well done. Well done, participants and organisers. Thank you.
Excellent. I
Thanks.
completely agree.
Really great. And thanks to you, Jasmine.
Oh,
great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, great
Thank
job.
you. This is definitely the biggest event I've hosted on Zoom. So there's small teething problems, but we'll get there. Excellent.
Oh, good.
Thank you, everyone.
Well
okay, see you all soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.